being patient is more important now than it ever has been, because the world shows you everything in fast forward. We're all in this together. The Pakistani ecosystem, we're all going to build it together. The concept of growth for me changed after I met Alibaba. We will play a very pivotal role in the B2B side of Alibaba.com. So from a very young age, I was exposed to sort of entrepreneurship. My father was an entrepreneur, my mother worked in entrepreneurship as well, my brother-in-law was an entrepreneur, so it was always in the family. One of my favorite things in the world is your ability to not only set up a culture or set up a vision or mission of a company, but then also to work with people and see how they transpire. I think the greatest part of being a leader is being able to inspire people to do their jobs, but also sometimes getting out of the way, setting up a culture where they feel comfortable, where they feel like a family, where they all work together to get somewhere. And I think it's one of the most rewarding things, and it's something that I've always wanted to do. We have to be patient. Now that sounds very simple, but social media and the information age has made it so hard to be patient. You look at, to the guy on your left, you look to the guy on your right, and everybody is somehow, an overnight success. You don't know what exactly their lives are like. You don't know what they've been through to get there. Being patient is more important now than it ever has been, because the world shows you everything in fast forward, and it's important to be patient. It's important to be resilient. We have our whole lives to figure out what we're going to do. So the process. Now I'm not saying that the process of other businesses is boring or anything like that, but there is something almost like a drug about advertising. So basically, you have an idea, it's in your head, and the process of that idea in your head going on to paper, going on to whatever, production, photography, design, whatever it may be, web app, and then seeing the audience react to that initial idea that you once had, and that light bulb going on in their heads, and them understanding what you were trying to say. That is the most beautiful thing, I think, that I have experienced. That is what makes advertising so beautiful. It's changing people's perceptions. It's shaping the narrative, and the mantra of Icon 7. If you're able to do that as well, which is mean something, then I think it's the most fulfilling career one could have. The concept of growth for me changed after I met Alibaba. They are so ambitious, so motivated, and they set themselves such ridiculous targets that growth as a concept changes in your mind. As their channel partners here in Pakistan, they expect us to grow at 80% minimum, although our targets are usually set at about 100-140% year on year. That is their expectation. And in the beginning I was like, this is crazy. I don't think we can achieve those targets. And all the country heads that I've worked with, etc., they used to always tell me it seems unachievable. And then you start to get into that rhythm, and you start to understand the sort of method to that madness, and it's all seems very doable after a certain amount of time. There are 140,000 resellers across the globe. There's 140,000 suppliers. And there are 1,800 suppliers out of Pakistan. That's less than 1%. And for an industry so big, where we have the mammoth cities like Sialkot, Faisalabad or Karachi producing sports goods, producing leather equipment, producing surgical equipment, producing all sorts of things, the possibilities are endless. We, very rightfully so, have been identified as a key market for Alibaba in the future, and there's a reason behind that. We have so much potential that I am sure we will play a very pivotal role in the B2B side of Alibaba.com. Storytelling or journalism or the ability to motivate or inspire your people has been the cornerstone of any great nation anywhere in the world, and I think that's where Pro-Pakistani will play an important part. Pro-Pakistani's mantra is, as the name suggests, Pakistan, and highlighting the technology of Pakistan, the business of Pakistan, the sports of Pakistan, highlighting the stories of Pakistan and the heroes of Pakistan. And I think one of the reasons that our audience is growing as fast as it's growing and the brands like working with us is because we are here to tell that narrative. We are here to tell that story. We don't want to get involved in government. We don't want to get involved in politics or anything along those lines. We're here to tell you the happenings of our country and something that inspires you, something that leaves you motivated, and also something that makes you proud. I think I'm curious about one thing, and that is, how do we adapt as governments, as nations, as the world, as businesses, or even as people? These are unprecedented times, and how you adapt will be key. And it's important to understand that that is what makes great companies great. Their ability to work in any terrain, adapt to any environment, adapt to any sort of ability. And the same goes for employees, the same goes for governments, the same goes for nations. If you are unable to adapt, none of us can ever claim to be great. In order to take something online, in order for e-governance to be a real thing, you need to be training people at the grassroots level or hiring people of that nature or with that sort of understanding of tech to be able to implement these things. The government has done some phenomenal projects when it comes to automation of different industries. The problem is in execution, and execution requires education. It requires understanding at the grassroots level. So once I think that is taken care of, everything else will be easy from there. Collaboration is going to be key. अपना साइलो में बैठने से या अपनी जो कहते हैं ना 1.5 इंच की मस्जिद बनाने से कुछ भी नहीं होने वाला. If we are working together as a community, as companies, as organizations, we can solve a lot more problems a lot faster. Not everyone needs to be looking, and I think this also dates back to the fact that this is why we don't have lots of billion-dollar companies. In order to have billion-dollar companies, you don't just have one man or one CEO or one great team. You have a continuous collaboration of all sorts of people, and that's how you make something truly great and truly, ginormous. Pakistan has a strong set of family businesses, but you need new blood. You need people to sort of come in. You need to bring them on, partner with them. You need to see how we can evolve, and this is all to do with collaboration. So I think if there's one thing we can do more, it's work together and it's be more open with each other. I think we're all in this together. The Pakistani ecosystem, we're all going to build it together. So it's important that we start working together.